Would you buy a Transformer figure that doesn't transform? Well, I certainly did. When I saw this guy at Toy Panic store, I just put my money down straight away and bought this guy back home. To be very frank, I kinda glad that 3A and ThreeZero decided to go with this decision of making a figure that doesn't transform, because to be very frank, from my experience of having those Transformers and even Gunpla robots that transform from vehicle to robot mode, they don't really stand out well in the robot mode. So this is actually a very great decision on 3A and ThreeZero's part. Of course, this is a Hasbro licensed product, so attention to detail, I would say that it's almost 100% movie accurate. So if you're planning to get a cheaper knockoff version of Blitzwing, you will notice that there's quite a lot of detail that's missing from this guy. Okay, now the 3A and ThreeZero version of Blitzwing, as I mentioned earlier, has so much going for it. Everywhere you look, there's just so much detail. No matter where you look, whether it's the legs, the calves, the arms, the feet, even the arms and hands as well, there is great attention to detail by the team over at 3A and ThreeZero, and I have to say a big kudos to those guys for making the Blitzwing look so awesome. And to be very frank, the overall look and design of this Blitzwing is definitely something that I prefer so much more compared to the older Michael Bay Transformers designs. Those are, to be very frank, a little bit too chaotic and too messy for me. But let's talk about in terms of the design and also the finishing. The Blitzwing itself actually has quite a lot of detail and also weathering that's been done onto the figure itself. So there's a lot of grease mark, rust mark everywhere across the Blitzwing figure. There's actually also quite a lot of weathering done across, even on the wing plates as well. And no matter where you look, you'll find some level of dry brushing on silver, on gunmetal. So I think that really is a testament of how much attention to detail they're putting into this figure, and definitely by that alone is really well worth the money amount I spent on this guy. Now let's talk about articulation. Despite this being a non-transforming Blitzwing, you still actually have 51 points of articulation, and that's actually seriously quite impressive. I was expecting the normal movements on the arms, elbows and joints, but I was not expecting actually for the arms to be able to push outwards. So that's actually quite an interesting feature that was not really shown by some of the reviewers on YouTube. And in terms of the torso, there's actually quite a cool gimmick as well. If you actually remove this particular piece here, you will be able to actually push Blitzwing to look downwards. So that's actually quite an interesting articulation point that they've added. So when you move the cockpit at the bottom, I just want to call it, you'll be able to move the torso down a little bit further. Now let's talk about the knee and also the legs. You're able to do the splits, so I wasn't expecting this. I'm not sure how many people are actually going to pose it that way, but you are able to do the splits for the Blitzwing. And of course, the age-old question, can you do the Iron Man pose? And yes, you're actually able to split the legs all the way back up, so you can actually do up to a 90-degree almost how do I say, bend. So you'll be able to create that classic Iron Man pose on Blitzwing if you want to, but you do need to be careful not to damage the wing, because you need to move the wing at the back a little bit to ensure that you don't damage it when you're moving the feet backwards. Now let's talk about accessories and gimmicks. This is the weapon pack that actually came together with the Blitzwing. This is the Null Ray Blaster, yes, that's the official name. And as you can see here, there's some dry brushing effect and also weathering done on the blaster itself. So I'm just kind of glad that the team and 3A and ThreeZero has given that consistent weathering look across the entire kit and also the weapons that comes together for the Blitzwing. Now it's worth noting that all the joints that you see on Blitzwing, those are actually all die-cast parts. So no worry about breaking the joints on the Blitzwing over changing of the arms and the hands on the Blitzwing figure. They also come together with the Electron Spike Blade, as you remember from the movie where Blitzwing tore out Bumblebee's voice box or voice motherboard. So this is the guy. Very detailed. It's all paintbrush in silver and metal, gunmetal finish. So I've seen some reviewers where their electron spike blade is a little bit bent, so I'm just glad that mine is still straight up, no issue, and that is actually not soft rubber but actually hard plastic. And you can actually put up 2 batteries to light up Blitzwing's eye, but unfortunately I don't have the battery at my disposal to show off right now due to the lockdown of COVID-19, so I'm stuck at home. So maybe once I get a battery on, I will actually be able to showcase how the eyes light up on Blitzwing. If I have to pick, and if you ask me, hey, what is the bad thing about Blitzwing? Well, the only thing that really I have a small gripe with is how the head compartment, as you can see earlier where I removed to show the battery compartment, it is not held very tightly. So sometimes when you're posing the figure, it will just fall off very easily. So that is the only thing that I'm kind of pissed off with. But other than that, to be very frank, that's a very minor gripe that I have with the figure. Overall, the joints are tight, metal joints as well. Possibility is great, 51 points of articulation, great amount of weathering and amount of articulation that comes for Blitzwing. It is definitely well worth the amount of money that I paid for this figure. Actually, to be very frank, I'm surprised that 3A and ThreeZero didn't charge extra for this figure that they put out in the market. I've also ordered the Optimus Prime from them as well, so hopefully that will come out very soon, and also Soundwave. So as soon as I get those guys from 3 and ThreeZero, I'll definitely share the review with you guys. Now obviously right now some of you may heard I've been mentioning 3A and ThreeZero, so this is a past collaboration from these two companies. But since I think earlier this year, these two companies have actually parted ways, so I'm not sure whether future releases will be coming out as 3A or ThreeZero, so that will be quite interesting to see whether how Hasbro deals with the license for the Transformers line with these two companies. So stay tuned, and thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you guys are a big fan of Transformers, and I really want to hear from you guys what you think of the design differences between Michael Bay's Transformers versions versus the new designs that is from the Bumblebee timeline. So let me know. Love to hear from you guys, and as usual, thank you so much for watching.